side. I think there's room for them to put that in.
Where would they tap? Would they have to go across the street to tap then for water?
I don't know, could they take it off the 12 or not?
They could. I mean, it just depends.
It's kind of a big service there for, that's the only reason I asked that.
They have good
If
water
They'd have to go, but
How's it
that's
work?
not good.
Not right now. So, yeah, they
They
might.
just, something I thought about anyway was, where would they get it?
It's possible. I mean, they could. I mean, I could.
Yeah.
What about, like last year, the south water tower dumped all that water, would that happen?
We don't,
And,
it doesn't have a top floor.
They don't have, okay.
No, that actually drops down,
Yeah.
comes down to the
Tube on the inside.
Yeah, they might.
bottom, the way it should.
If, no, I was just thinking if it did, it would flood that barn.
Yeah, ice skating rink.
We don't-
Hopefully when the towers talk, we don't have that problem. That's the
Yeah.
goal. When this happens, that we don't have one
Mm-hmm.
overfilling it and, pushing up, and, that's the problem we've got is non-communication anyway. So if we're doing it by hand, they forget or, just happens anyway, so.
So I'll meet with them and see, walk the land, see if they're interested, if that's something they want to move forward with. I'll have them, give us an idea of what the footprint is for the building and whatnot, and bring that back. Obviously, we need to sign some sort of lease agreement or something along those lines to make it work. Outside of that, we've also got MS and Sons is looking at expanding its office in that area. They're having sewer issues because the sewer is very shallow in that area, and they want to use city sewer. They don't want to put in a septic. They have city sewer in their original office, but they want, if they expand, they want to have it in the new section also. So I've kind of talked to David a little bit about this, about potentially doing an inverted, how do you?
Low pressure.
Low pressure.
Yep.
So a low pressure line with a grinder pump to pump it back up to the manhole closer to Liguria. So that's something we're talking about doing.
That's a city project then, or that becomes a private issue then?
Well, my thought is that their expansion is probably $200,000 to $300,000 worth of valuation. You just provide no rebate agreement, you pay for
Okay.
the sewer.
Just so it's a.
And then as part of that, you can extend that down and Midas can grab it too when you come through. And so you run that line for roughly, $20,000 to $30,000 and you pick up
Yeah.
two.
Something like that.
And so that would be, I think that'd be a good benefit. And, getting the $300,000 worth of valuation is obviously impressive too. So,
The property owners have to maintain the grinder,
Yeah.
but at the
Okay,
same
that was my
time,
next question, okay.
it's a heck of a lot cheaper than
No,
putting in a lift
yeah.
station.
that's what we're trying to avoid, is you
Yeah.
obviously don't want to put it in the lift station for such small
Right.
usage. And
Yep.
so at that point, you just say, well, you have to put it in septic.
Yep.
But,
Does that require a backup generator too then, or not, or is that a whole separate deal?
A lot of times they don't put them on it. Sometimes,
Not much usage during that
there's
particular
not,
time or
yeah,
something,
and
right?
realistically, if you have a grinder pump, you too have some capacity there to fill it up.
Okay.
Especially like this, I would assume it doesn't have a basement, so you're gonna have a grinder that's probably, minimum 6-7 feet deep station, where you have a service line probably coming out at 4 foot in your toilet where you'd actually come up. It's probably another 2 foot there, so you have kind of a lot of capacity to actually fill it up. But it's their baby at that point,
Okay.
so.
Good idea.
yeah, and I think that there's, after talking with David about this, I mean, it seems like that it's not a very risky thing, because you are running gravity out to that pit. So worst case scenario, let's say everything goes horribly wrong and then there's an overflow, it's actually outside the building, so.
Yep.
So there's some safety.
Yep, your stool is above the lid on your grinder pump, so usually it starts spewing out there and somebody walks by and goes,
That's not a good situation.
Yeah.
So that's one of the.
Is there a timeline on that, Aaron? Would they like to, when did they?
They'd like to start it
as
last
soon-
week, I think.
They wanted to go last week
Yeah,
already, okay.
this is every project is last week.
I was good into September to start all these.
Yeah, yeah.
So-
Building season, so.
So this is when David hates me and I have these conversations. So I'm waiting for David on that. It's all his fault.
They're surveying it, I think, tomorrow, so.
So then we'll have a better idea of what the
Yeah.
actual cost is, and you know, I'll talk to Grony about what the actual value of the building's going to be. There are jobs that are attached to that. He is moving support staff out into the building. So
Is this something we need to decide on before the next council meeting?
I
2 weeks
would
is a lot of
say-
time this time of year for construction
Yeah.
season, so that's the only reason I asked that. so.
Well, I think
Like, the meeting.
realistically, no matter what, they're gonna have to wait on a DNR permit.
Okay.
And to get the DNR permit, we're gonna have to have plans, so
Okay.
we got a little
Okay,
bit of time
alright.
there.
Totally
And we'll
fine.
give you a better idea on the cost of it at that point, because we'll have the survey done and drops, so.
Well, I guess they don't really need to wait for the DNR permit if they know we'll go through with our side.
Yeah, completely agreed.
So-
Because technically, you know, they can stub it out. We
Yeah.
can tell them what they're gonna do to it,
Mhm.
as long as the DNR will permit it. And
Mhm. So anyway, that's another one. Another issue that's come up is the street assessment. The assessment has come through, which the whole community knows this. The assessment came through for DD 13 and then up on the hill, DD 35.
80 and 80 and 30 or 50. I don't know.
Okay, the one next to Eagle Ridge, that assessment also came through. And so the city has about $210,000 worth of street assessment. With the bridge outstanding and the amount of road work that's going on right now, I think it would be smart to kick that to the next budget and then pay for it at that point when we know what our hard costs are on all of these projects that are outstanding. You know, there's a huge chance with the bridge for increased costs depending on when they're pouring the deck and, you know, what they run into.
Mhm.
There's pilings that took way longer than they thought they would, so that's gonna be an increased cost. And so just with that amount of unknown, I think it's a good idea to budget that next year.
So they
which
have,
we did.
they have a rock pose or whatever then for the bridge, do they?
Oh, yeah, they're not,
Okay.
they're not gonna eat that cost. So it's a quantity, I mean, it's just the welds on the pile and how much pile they actually use. And so they had to they had to do quite a few more welds, and they had to do, quite a bit more piling. So we're gonna end up with a change order on those for the fact that they had to go down further. I mean, but they hit it a little bit closer on one side too, and so it's
Do we get credit then or not?
not enough to make up for the
No,
loss.
but I mean, we get some credit.
Yeah.
I'm just curious because it's all one-sided.
Yeah.
That's what I'm curious.
So it's pretty much all.
Not gonna be to our advantage.
Yeah.
And if we do curb and gutter up there too, or
Yeah.
something up there. Now, is that something that we have to pay interest on, on that
Yes,
assessment?
it would be-
Until it's paid?
I think it's 4 or 6%. I don't
It's
remember.
4-6%, something like that, so.
Until it's paid.
Still it's paid, and I would recommend probably paying it off next year. It's just if you pay it off at this point, there's nothing left.
No contingency left
Yeah,
over for-
there's no contingency. You're gonna have
Mhm.
another 400,000 and change worth of lost revenues that come in, you know, there's just a lot that you'll know. I think there's some extra on the bond proceeds because that project came in cheaper, but, you know, it's just good to know where we're at sometimes.
Mhm.
We've been moving so quickly on a lot of this stuff that it's hard to keep track of where everything's at, you know, with all those change orders and whatnot that could be sitting out there. I got a lot to. The vacancies, we've received applications for the 3 positions that the city has open or opening. The police officer position and then the 2 street positions with the 2 retirements over there. You know, we've received several applicants for the street department position. The police, we've not had a lot of interest in the position, so, you know, that's been a little concerning, and it seems like, you know, we're going to have to put everybody through the academy if they, you know, for the applicants, which there's another, $10,000 worth of cost. And so, Hopefully, you know, we'll continue to accept applications. And the one good thing is when Dean put out for the deputy position, he asked all those folks if they wanted to apply for the police department position, and he said they all checked yes, and he feels like there's some quality candidates in there too. So, you know, we'll just kind of see where it goes from there.
On that police academy expense that we would incur, is there a buyout on that? Or how much is that then, Aaron? Just
That-
just
Depending on
depends.
what they state.
Yeah,
But it's a contract that they have to save for 3 years. 3 years? People think what they should years and stuff. 3 years. So, and then once they hit that, then it drops off, and you know.
It was about $15,000, isn't it?
Yeah.
'Cause it's like a 5, 10, 15 buyout if they leave right away or something.
Well, it depends on if they have a certain amount of training, then they can go to the 8-week course, and if they don't, then they have to go to the full course. And so, like when Holden went, it was pretty cheap because I think he had his criminal justice degree, and so.
We had one guy doing the one in Storm Lake about the contract out.
Yeah.
Just paid us.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is, it's not good for us, but it's really not good. I mean, a lot of times they'd rather just have their employee and they'll buy it out. You know, one thing that's unfortunate is, you know, we'd like to bring Andrew Shillington back. He's in Ida, as a deputy, but he just picked up a canine there, and so they want the canine bought out if he leaves. So.
We don't want a canine anymore.
Oh, if you guys want a canine.
We had one for, actually,
Yeah.
it wasn't a bad idea.
I mean, Dean was frustrated with it because you know, it's just, there's a lot of training and some expense that goes along with it. But,
Nobody lost it.
yeah.
Did all the training.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's you know, that's something to look into. You know, we'll continue to talk this through with the hiring, you know, to figure out what to do. So, that's coming down the road here.
but Andrew Shillington, he wanted the deputy's position, he wasn't
He
really.
actually wanted to stay, but he couldn't stay because when Brad came back, he
Yeah.
took his position anyway, so.
Mhm. Yeah,
Because
he was just
we
a
had
fill-in,
hold
so.
Brad's job
Yeah.
since he was deployed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I know that he has really strong ties to the community and would like to be back in Humboldt. You know, nothing against where he's at right now, but it's home for him, so.
Just look at the cost or something anyway.
Yeah, so we can kick that out to you guys. More news, the copier has finally kicked the bucket in our office. We had to replace it, and when we replace it, there's about 3 copiers in that office, or 3 printers and copiers in that office that are well over 5 years. And one of them, I think, is probably over 12 years.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's the one that runs.
Police department.
Yeah.
Dean, we just replaced Dean's, I think that was, could have brought that down for a day or two.
Jeez. The one that runs the disconnects and the utility bills, that's just been a monster for us. It's a great machine, but it is 12 years old. So when we replaced this one, we intentionally went and looked at a unit that can handle larger sheets of paper for the utility bills and for the disconnects and everything like that. And so hopefully, you know, those machines will be with us for a long time because they do a great job, but when they do, we can phase out some other units that are currently sitting there, so we won't have to replace those because this will actually perform what those other units actually do, so.
You're getting bids on that, or you got bids?
No,
you
we already
replaced? Okay.
ordered it
Okay.
because it was, that copier had 600,000 copies on it, so it was, and did all the scanning of the minutes back to like 1900. I mean, so when we did the data entry for all the history, so it's been a good machine, but it no longer had service on it or anything like that, and so as you can see on this is after having fixed twice, it's starting to do the fade out, and so it had to be replaced as soon as possible. The bridge had a meeting. I don't know, but I don't know. Met with the engineers and DOT. Had a meeting with Goverson Smith about their working days versus their project completion. They stand at 33% project completion, but they're almost 50% through their working days. And that's with all the flood days removed, that's with all the cleanup removed, everything along those lines. So they're lagging way behind on completion. Goberson wasn't concerned about it because they said, you know, when we pour the deck, we'll pour 800 cubic yards in one day. And you've got that scheduled for several days. We do it in one solid pour, just round the clock, concrete trucks coming in and pouring it. So, you know, they're on notice that DOT is concerned about working days and how much further they have. I think that, you know, just like this with Heliseth, they'll continue to be lenient, you know, as much as you can. They're doing a good job. They're a good contractor. You know, I think they're being diligent, but at the same time, just, you know, prod them along. You know, we need to keep this moving so that hopefully we can get it to a point where maybe we just have to rock the approaches up until next spring. That way we've got a usable bridge over the winter. I don't think there's any chance of them getting the approaches done this winter, but at the very least we'd have a bridge for the winter. And we could keep some of the traffic off the hill and icy conditions and whatnot coming down 169. Because when school's in and out, that is really quite interesting through there.
Now, if the DOT does liquidated damages, does that come off our bill, or just DOT just get money for liquidated damages?
It goes proportionate to total cost. So if they assess liquidated damages, which they did provide, that was part of the conversation, was, you know, we will take liquidated damages on this project if you don't need working days. So, you know, you can see they're making good progress right now, but there still is the abutment on the east side and the pier on the east side that need to be completed before they can even get to
I
the
see they
falls
moved
work.
equipment anyway, so they're,
Yeah.
where are we at with, I met with a FEMA lady today from Massachusetts anyway.
Mhm.
Where are we at on that with FEMA and stuff anyway?
I've been submitting information to their local guy here that's handling the actual project application. We've been getting, you know, contract information for the washout with Goberson Smith. We've submitted some preliminary numbers to FEMA. He's coming by tomorrow to pick up the total runtime for the pumps during the bypass event with the flooding. All those are reimbursable amounts. You know, some of them are, you know, percentages, some of them are, you know, full amounts. The berm was a reimbursable amount, so they'll pay for the material and whatnot on that. It's kind of a weird hodgepodge worth of, you can do this, but you can't do this. Like our manpower, they won't consider any of that for the most part, but they'll consider all the material that was put down. The pumps they'll give us rental price on, but, you know, even though we own the pumps, so it's a very interesting thing. It's kind of, you know, I talked to them about the washout, and they're willing to do one section, but, you know, maybe not this section back there.